Hey, what's up? How are y'all doing? Okay, y'all ready? Are y'all here now? We good? We good? What's up? How y'all doing? Cool. All right, whatever. Listen, hey, y'all, if you want to stand and make where you're from, we're going to do a worship song before we get into tonight. Just one. All right. Cool. Let's go. Up there yet? Here, let's put those bridge words up there real quick. Alright. And everybody start singing this. We're going to do this a couple times, alright? We got one song, so make sure this y'all really get into it. We got one song, we're going to jump right into this, okay? Okay, come on, ready? 3, 4. If I'm not dead, then you're not done. Greater things are still to come. Oh, I believe. If I'm not dead, then you're not done. on, Wyatt. Come on.
Oh, oh, oh. Come on, guys, let's go.
One more time, come on. Yeah, come on.
One second. There we go. Hi. Hey y'all. So there's gonna be a prayer box. Woo! Woo! Okay, so this is used to write prayers, and you put it in the box. Yeah. So you write it down on a card. You don't need to sign your name, but you could. And then just drop it in the box. And guess what? Guess what? We'll pray for you. Right?
Don't forget to come on the youth section on Sunday mornings. And, I can't read. I'm sorry. And if you don't want to sit with your parents, come on and sit with us, and we'll all be there.
Especially me.
Hi again. So Riddle Me This starts tonight. If at any point you want to ask any questions, you can DM HF Youth or send Sydney or Caden a text. Also, can I please get January and December birthdays up here?
Birthdays. Get up here. Get up here. Come on. Woo!
This side. Okay, so you will. Who?
Eli, I heard it's your birthday, so, or soon, or before, I don't know.
Okay, so you're gonna say your name and when your birthday was. So my name's Sophia, and my birthday was December 4th.
My name is Wyatt Peak. I'm sorry, I'm so loud. January 20th. Let's go.
My name's Eli. My birthday's the 25th.
My name is Jordan. My birthday is the 29th of January.
Hunter 20s. Nah. Hunter the 7th, January.
My name is Ryan Goodlow, and my birthday is January 29th.
My name's Pistol, and December 7th.
My name is Parker, and it's January 3rd.
Nice. Let's give it up for these birthday babies. Woo.
Y'all gotta come back for your song.
Come back for your song. Get over here. We're singing y'all a song. I didn't know. Yeah.
You told me to leave.
I don't care. Okay. Ready? Oh, Rainy. Hi.
I'm Rainy, and I'm old.
Okay. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear everybody. Yeah, you better stand here. Oh, Riddle Me This. I already did. You did? No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Oh.
Thank you guys.
Okay. All right. Now, so I don't usually pray in front of people, so this is like new to me, so bear with me, okay? Ready? Okay, bow your heads, please. Dear Lord, thank you for bringing us here tonight. Thank you for making us so happy tonight and so involved. Thank you for everyone who had a birthday and who's here with us in general, you know. And let this be the best youth service ever. Woo! Sorry, I don't know what to pray for. Amen.
That's great. Hey, y'all can have a seat, y'all. Hey, if Matt and Jake could help Steven real quick. Woo. Cool. Hey, if you're with me, say I'm with you. Okay. Hey, that was really good. That was one of the better ones yet, y'all. Thanks, man. Cool. All right. Hey, how's school been going? What is it? We're almost done with January? Not really, but kind of. No? Okay. Okay, cool. All right. So, sorry, y'all. Gosh. Like Taylor and Sophia said in the announcements, tonight is the first night of Riddle Me This. How many of y'all remember me talking about this for like months now? That's cool. That's cool. Oh, yeah. Okay, so before I ask the adults up here, I kind of want to explain the heart and the concept of this. So every year, around graduation time, we do this thing called yearbook. And basically our leaders come up and they give their testimonies. But that's really only a way for about 4 of them to share their testimonies and y'all get to know them. So I wanted to come up with a different way for y'all to get to know your adult leaders. And so I came up with this way because, one, like sometimes we just have these questions that we don't always get to ask me or Sid or Oscar or Pastor Ronnie. Sometimes we don't have time to get to ask those questions. So this is an opportunity for y'all to submit questions for these adult leaders to answer for y'all, if that makes sense. Oof. So if y'all who are on the panel want to come up and find a chair, you pick your seat. Y'all can come up. Yeah, Brandon's making his way. Okay. So the main thing I tried to do with this was I wanted to simulate a conversation, right? So none of them know the questions I'm about to ask them. They don't know if a funny one's coming up. They don't know if a really deep one's coming up. And I did that because I didn't want me to ask a super deep question that y'all might have and them have an entire paragraph written in their notes to answer y'all. Because it's not that it's not genuine. It's just it's not on the spot like a conversation, you know. Because in a conversation you don't have the time to look into your notes and read off stuff. All right, cool. To start, y'all start with Jalen. We're down. Tell us. Let's go with your name. And how long you have been coming to Harvest Fellowship, and how long you've been a youth leader. I don't know, guess. Throw a number out there, bro.
Fuentes. I've been coming to Harvest since 2019, 2020. So, however long that is. And I've been a youth leader for about a year now.
I'm Jordan Fuentes. This is my husband, if y'all didn't know. I've been coming to Harvest since like 1 year after it started. So how many years has it been? I don't know. A long time. Yeah. Yeah, a really long time. Since I was really little.
All right, all of y'all know me, or most of y'all. My name's Joseph Serrano, and Mr. Serrano. Okay. Thank you. I've been coming to Harvest maybe 8 years, I think. I think about 8 years, and I've been a youth leader for 4 years, something like that. I don't remember. I've lost my memory. I'm old, guys. I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah, that's me.
I'm Brandon. Hey, this mic works better. I'm Brandon, and been going to Harvest now for 10 years-ish, something like that. And then youth leader for probably going on 2, maybe 3 years now. If I math right, yeah, like 3 years. So, yep, that's it.
My name is Bianca Madrid, and because some of us are just cooler.
Just a little bit more.
So yeah, same amount of time because that's my husband, and like roughly 10 and a half years. We started coming like the beginning of 2013 or something. I've actually been a youth leader longer, probably probably like 7 years, maybe, like 7 years. So yeah, I've seen a few things. I know a few things about y'all. So I love you, anyways. I love you.
Yay!
I'm Katie, and I've been coming to Harvest for about 5 years, and I've been a youth leader for like 4 months.
Yay, Katie!
Awesome. Can y'all hear me good on the stage and whatnot? Cool.
Yep.
All right. So I'm gonna read off the question. Not all y'all have to give an answer. If all y'all want to give an answer, we have time for it. So it's whatever y'all feel like. All right. What? Hi, y'all. I'm right here. I'm next to Eli. If y'all are looking for me, me and Eli
just
are
so
chilling.
bright.
We're chilling back here.
Can we turn these down like a smidge?
I don't know.
Or maybe
I'm blinded by the lights.
I think the answer is no.
I have like a massive glare on my glasses. So bad.
I'm gonna sit like this.
Oh gosh.
I'm just kidding.
All right, y'all. Question 1. What is your favorite color?
Ooh. I have 2.
I have 2 too. 2 as well.
I would assume
someone said it. Someone knows me.
I would assume the people with mics should go first.
Both of y'all know me. I do love pink and blue. The 2 over there yelling it. Pink and blue! Pink and blue!
Blue.
Red.
I like blue.
I as well love 2 colors, and they are blue and yellow.
I like orange, but not like Artesia Bulldog's orange, like a softer orange. And blue.
She likes Orange County orange. I know.
All right, yeah. I'll just look for a wave when y'all are done talking.
Okay,
All right. Cool. All right, number 2. If you could Freaky Friday with anyone, who would it be? So, okay, for the youngins, Freaky Friday is switch places or switch bodies.
Yeah, that means
with.
switch places.
Yeah. Okay, for all y'all youngins, that's what Freaky Friday is. Hey y'all.
I think as far as change, like, so is it like somebody like on the panel or just like anybody in general?
Let's just do anyone in general for fun.
That's a good question. I don't know, maybe a celebrity?
Well, that's lame. You need a name, bro. You can't just tell me a celebrity. That's so broad.
Okay.
Would it make it easier if I said someone on the panel? Okay, someone on the panel.
I'm gonna switch with Jalen.
Ooh.
Yeah, I like the stash.
Dang.
I would probably switch places with my son. He's a little 3.5-year-old, so I think that might be kind of fun.
There you go. That'd be interesting.
Oh, okay, I got one. If I could switch places with anybody, I would switch places with this little girl at work. She's 3. So I could fight a few kids. That's what I would do.
That's valid.
Yes.
That's valid.
Yes, yep. Yes.
Okay. I think I would switch places with every little 6th grader sitting out there right now. Yeah, for real. Just y'all's minds, man. But one in particular, Jay. I would like to switch with Jay because his mind's just phenomenal, y'all. Just the things he comes up with. You should hear him during story time or just stories. It's hilarious. Jay, you know what I'm talking about, buddy. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Katie or Jalen, y'all got something?
I would switch with Oscar so I could play the guitar.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest, I wouldn't switch with the person. I'd switch with my cat.
Switch. Ooh. All right. That's a good answer.
I get to sleep all day if I were my cat. And be handed food. Food, sleep. Best things ever.
All right. Y'all ready? Here's the first, a little bit deeper one, okay? What made you want to become a youth leader?
There you go.
All right, I think for me, as far as wanting to become a youth leader, the previous church that we were in, it was one of those that kind of got into it with Bianca. The pastor there at the time wanted me to join. It's one of those that said, well, when you come back, Bianca, both of you come back. So it kind of got me into it, but I've always had a passion for youth, not necessarily kids, because I'm not going to kidding. I'd probably kick half of them. But, as far as youth, I think there's sometimes that my maturity level is probably around y'all's, mainly high school area.
Let's go.
So
I felt that.
for me, I think that's kind of where I'm in it, and then that's why I like doing it.
Yeah.
I think I'm with Brandon. Like my maturity level is just like around y'all's age, and y'all the way y'all think and everything. And I think I'm easy to talk to. I like working in the school system and stuff. A lot of kids I didn't even know just come approach me and talk to me. So I'm like, hey, I could be a youth leader if I can do that where I'm working. Why not at church? But I think God's used me in the school system for that reason because I'm passionate about like helping y'all learn, things I've been through and just passing that knowledge to y'all when y'all come and the important things, not just math and science or reading or whatever, but just when you're having trouble in, in y'all's lives, because I've been through it and I know it's hard, and just to share that with y'all and share my experience with y'all is what I'm here to do, and that's it.
Yeah.
Cool. I wanted to become a youth leader. Well, God really put it on my heart. I don't know if I necessarily saw that for myself, but I was in your guys' place not too long ago, 9 years ago. So I don't know. I feel like I can relate to a lot of the struggles and just the life you guys are living and stuff. So
I was pressured by Pastor Jerry and Lori. So, and Jordan, and I went through Men of Valor, and then I just kind of let that pressure get to me. So here I am.
You must have fell in love with it though, because I haven't received the letter of resignation yet. So. Cool. Anyone else want to share?
Honestly, if y'all had told me like a year ago that I was gonna be in here, I would have told you were crazy. Because teenagers terrify me, or they used to, even when I was one. But I had a lot of really amazing grown-ups in my life when I was in high school, and I really felt like God called me this last year to kind of step into a position of trying to be that for other people. So,
Yeah.
Sorry. I actually have a heart for youth. I really didn't know that I did until I was probably like high school, maybe like sophomore year. I was a super hard kid to love. Rough kid. I was the kid that would skip out on Wednesdays. I was a kid that would probably fight you in the parking lot. And I didn't care. I was super hateful to all my youth leaders. Royally hateful to all my youth leaders. No, I'm not even lying. And there was this one youth leader. Her name was Diane Rogers. And she, every Wednesday, would give me a hug and tell me she loved me. And I was like, okay, bye. Like, thanks. See you later. And she never went a Wednesday or a Sunday without telling me she loved me. And I've kind of told my testimony like on and off, but I had a really rough relationship with my mom, and so I didn't receive, like, we didn't have like a mother-daughter relationship, and so I didn't have like, what do you call it? I don't want to say confidence, like you couldn't tell me that you love me, because I was like, well, okay, well, my own mother doesn't love me, so if you love me, that's a joke, so you can get out of my face and go away. Anyway, but God started working on me my sophomore year and kind of brought some things out, and to this day, I'm super grateful for Diane. Not long ago, let me tell you how horrible I was to this woman. I was horrible to her, so bad to her. I actually went and I sent her a friend's request because I found her on Facebook, because I wanted to send her a message and let her know how much I appreciated her and what an impact she had on my life, and she blocked me. It was so, I'm telling you, I was so bad. But anyway, and so it all goes to show, like, people can have an impact on you and never want anything to do with you for the rest of your life because of how horrible you are to them. So be nice to your youth leaders, children. Be nice. I will block you, and I will not think twice about it. No, I'm just kidding. I love you guys too much.
Hey, she'll block you.
But yeah, but for sure, if it wasn't for her really like digging in to like that deep part of me, I probably would not be where I am today. So that was huge for me.
Cool. Okay. All right, one more soft one, and then we got two deep ones. So, does anyone know any dad jokes? Wow, that was quick.
Right there.
Not off the top of my head.
Wow.
How come you can't hear a pterodactyl peeing? The bee is silent.
Got any other takers?
I mean, it's a dad joke, but I actually heard it from a kid who he actually made it up, and it everybody knows who Lady Gaga is. Okay, so the joke goes, how do you wake up Lady Gaga?
How?
You poker face, poker face.
Nice.
Please don't tell that again.
All right, cool. All right, here we go. This one will take some thinking. How do you find God when you're not even sure if he's real? We gotta give them a minute because I told y'all I didn't give these questions to them before, so they gotta think on it.
That's a deep one.
Thank Chris.
So I've been in that place many times in my life, just with the bunch of stuff that I've been through. There were times in my life where I did question whether God was real or not. My biggest advice and my biggest probably go-to is when you're not sure if God is real or not, or you're sitting in a place where you're not sure if there is a God, if he loves you, or if he even exists, is to ask questions. Question him. Question whether he's real. Ask him every question you could ever think to ask him, because I guarantee he would rather you ask questions about him than to just completely stop talking about him, or talking to him. So ask questions, and I mean, even if you feel like you're yelling at the ceiling, that's my go-to. Yeah.
I can't answer this from the standpoint of not believing, because I've always been a believer, but I've heard a lot of people's testimonies, like that were atheists before, and how they turned to Christianity or a different religion completely, and a lot of what they have said is they just ask God. Like, ask God, like even what Bianca was saying, like just talk to him, ask him to reveal himself to you. He'll send his Holy Spirit, and he'll make himself known to you. There's definitely been times in my life, even though I've always been a believer, that I've definitely doubted him and not trusted him, and I've still, every time that I've stopped and just prayed through it, even when I was doubting, I just prayed through it and asked God, like, God, just reveal yourself to me. Just help me to know what to do. Like, just cry out to him, and I guarantee that he will show up. I'm not sure how, but that may look different from person to person, but
Also, something knowing about God, something Mia said about the breath of life. And y'all heard my testimony when I was going through my whole addiction and wanting to jump off that cliff, and God was like, nope. And he threw me back onto my back, and he's like, I am the breath of life, you know? So something Mia said last Wednesday, was it last Wednesday? About the breath of life. Just breathe in. That's his name. Deep breath. Yahweh. That just came to me. When she said that, I was like, whoa, God, you're really speaking through Mia, because when I was on that cliff, that's what he told me. I am the breath of life. You know, you're trying to breathe, and you're trying to do it on your own, but I am the breath of life. Look for me, search for me, ask the questions that they said, and I was asking, you know, after that, I asked those questions. God, where are you? Why this? Why that? Why this? What do I need to do for you, God? And I would just have that conversation with him. I never said, I don't stop believing in you. I just kept on asking those questions, like these girls said. And that helped me realize that God is true. And he'll show up. He'll show up. You might not expect it, but he will show up. And you might think, like, oh, he's going to show something you imagined. Whatever you imagine, he'll show up 10 times bigger and better.
There was a point in my life in high school where it wasn't really that I was questioning if God existed. It was more, I was angry and I didn't want to believe he existed. And every time I tried to push God away and deny that I had a relationship with him just by not acting right and being really angry at a lot of things, God used a lot of people in my life that people would show up and like comfort me over things that I never said that I was dealing with. I never showed an inkling that I was dealing with. And sometimes when you're looking for God, you have to look for godly people. Because it's really hard to believe and really find evidence that God exists when you already kind of don't want to acknowledge that he does. But if you're looking, if you're questioning it, everything around you is evidence. The breath in your lungs, the people sitting in this room, the fact that Caden wanted to do this panel, that people were willing to come and sit up here and testify that he does exist, that God does love you guys. There's storms that each of you are walking through and stuff that each of you are dealing with that maybe the person sitting next to you or the people in the room don't have a clue about. But God knows about it, and he can use people that you don't always expect to help you through it. So if you're questioning if God exists or you're looking for evidence that he does, I'd encourage you to keep looking, because you'll find it, even if it's not always the way you'd expect to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think kind of going off of what Katie said, for me personally, you know, I was, as I say, born and raised, you know, in the Catholic Church essentially, but was raised Catholic all my life. So of course I was taught and told that, you know, to believe, you know, faith of the mustard seed, you know, all those different things. When I went out to college, you know, it kind of became a different thing for me, because I didn't have that circle of people around me telling me every day, you know, what to do, what not to do, what to believe, what not to believe. And so, you know, the world out there, and you guys see it every day, you know, whether it's internet, TV, whatever it is, I mean, there's so many things around you telling you that he's not real, that it does get convoluted and it does get hard to tell. But I think, like I said, going back to what Katie said, keeping those people around you. For me, it was when I moved back home from, you know, from college, and was kind of doing my thing, and you know, ended up running into Bianca. And one of the big things, like whenever we started dating and started getting, you know, being together, one of her big things was, I go to church on Sundays. You don't have to go, but if you want to, the invitation's always open. And so I started going with her, and the more I went, it you know, originally, I'm not gonna lie, I went because I'm going with the hot chick, you know. Hey, she said go, I'm saying okay. So that's what I did it for her. It was not for me at all. It wasn't for God, nothing. It was, I was going with her. But through all that, just sitting there, being with people that loved and trusted and believed, it started filling into me, and started, you know, I started receiving some of that and seeing some of that. You know, like Katie said as well, you know, just everything around you, you know, people talking, their testimonies, the things that they would do, that they, you know, the things that they would say, the accounts that you would see happen, just different things like that. And I mean, in every day, I mean, we all struggle every day. There's always something that the devil's going to put in your way to make you think. But like Bianca said, that's, you know, and Jordan said, that's when you ask those questions. Don't ever hesitate to ask the question. You know, I myself, every day, sometimes ask that question. You know, God, show me you. Show me what you want me to do. And I'll be honest, until the last couple of years that I've really dug in deep and jumped back into everything, have I gotten back to where I'm at now. You know, I mean, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, I mean, it was doing the motions. It was going to church because that's what we did on a Sunday. You know, going to church on a Wednesday because that's what we did on a Wednesday. It wasn't because I truly wanted to necessarily be there. It was just, that's what we did. You know, and as a kid, that's what we did. Sunday was church day. So I think that's the biggest thing, as far as when you start to question, not only ask the questions, but also remember who you've surrounded yourself with. Because if you surround yourself with godly people, then all that's going to come into you is godly advice.
What was your biggest step in your walk with Christ?
Well, since I got the mic, I'll go ahead and jump on it. I mean, going back to what I was just saying, I mean, for me, I think one of the biggest steps was following Bianca and sticking it out. And I mean, like us as a married couple, we've had our, our good times and bad times. But for us, we've had to not only, put God first, in our own individual lives, but put God first in our married life as well as a couple. And I mean, I think like for us, that's been like I said, for me, that was the biggest thing, was getting and following somebody who was a lot further down in their Christian walk than I was. I was barely leaving the platform, and she's already halfway through the race. And so it's been just a matter of keeping up with her. And there's been times that sometimes I think I've passed her, and then there's times that she passes me again. But I think for me, that was my big first step as far as really, truly getting a relationship and understanding a relationship, was that. Because like I said, I was born and raised in the Catholic faith. And there's people that are born and raised in several different faiths, but, a lot of times it becomes motions. And until you really sit and, what did Jerry used to say? Soak, until you just sat there and soaked in, the word, from reading or from listening, I mean, until you've done that, I mean, it's, you're kind of just playing at the top, in the top 10% of the water.
The biggest step for me was when I took Women of Valor. Like I said, me and Jalen both, we had gone to church our whole lives, but and even all throughout college, when we were just dating, and then when we were first married, we always had a church wherever we were at. But once we got back here and we had our son, I really knew that that was a step that I needed to take to make my faith my own. My mom was a huge part of my walk and knowing God and coming to the Lord growing up, and so I'm so thankful for her. But I kind of just always kind of went off of her faith, and I always believed, but I never, even growing up, even throughout high school, like, I really didn't open my Bible up that much, and besides coming on Wednesdays and Sundays, like, I didn't try to know God myself. And when I had questions, like the really deep questions, I wouldn't ever try to figure it out or ask anyone, or I would just go based off of what my mom said. And yeah, she was amazing, but she doesn't know everything. None of us do. And so I came to the realization when I became a mom, like, this is very important, and one day my kids are going to have to make that decision for themselves. We can't make that for them. Each of us has to do it for ourselves. And so taking that discipleship class was a big step for me, and it really just like kick-started something in me to want to just continue learning about God and continue growing and continue asking questions and not be afraid to ask questions. I think I was always hesitant growing up asking questions. I didn't want to seem like a less than Christian, and so instead of growing at all, I just stayed where I was, and I didn't care to ask anything because I didn't want to feel dumb. But I would encourage everyone to, like, if you have questions, just ask. Like, no one's going to think you're dumb. That's a way to grow, and I would encourage you to, like, start now. Don't wait until you're an adult. Don't wait until you have kids. Start now. Start learning as much as you possibly can, because you don't know who you're going to come in contact with and the opportunities you're going to have and that God will place in front of you to minister to others. And I don't think I had that confidence growing up as much as I do now. And so I would say that too, like, start now and find the answers for yourself, because our faith is our own, and no one can save us. Of course, God's saving us, but no one can make that decision, because it's really just, it's up to each individual person.
So I grew up in church, and as a kid, like, I felt like faith came really easily to me, like childlike faith, obviously. But the past 10 years have really felt like an uphill battle, and it's really hard when you feel like you've made some progress, and then you maybe have like a few days where you don't feel great, or you feel like your walk with God is really not succeeding, not moving anywhere, and you're kind of just like, well, if I'm not moving anywhere, am I like downgrading again in my faith? And I think one of the biggest steps for me was really realizing that something my sister tells me all the time: growth is not linear. It's not always going to be like you grew and now you're doing perfect and you're always going to do perfect. That's not what life is. So part of the biggest step for me was really realizing that it's okay to have bad days and it's okay to have great days, because God is with me through it all. He's with me when I'm terrified of something, and he's with me when I'm celebrating something, and nothing can take that away. So just realizing that even when I don't feel it, God is always there. And that took me a while.
Yeah.
What was the question?
What was the biggest step in your walk with Christ?
So I would say the most important step for me was accepting Christ as my Savior when I was a kid at a church camp. But the biggest step was taking the Men of Valor course a couple of years ago, and I would say most of my friends growing up weren't the most godly people, and I had never really surrounded myself with very godly people, and I found that by associating and spending time with a group of godly men, a group of men that were after Christ themselves, really encouraged me and helped me along, and really grew my relationship with the Lord.
Oh, do any of you have a go-to Bible verse when you aren't feeling okay? Giving it a little. See, Bianca and Jordan pulled out their phones real quick.
Well, I have a go-to Bible verse that I go to. I mean, just because it reminds me of like when I was going through my whole battle with addiction and just not wanting to live anymore. Like I was on that cliff. I think I explained to you. I was Luke 1:78 through 79 when God like showed me like Himself in the sun, and it talks about the light. I'm just like paraphrasing, but it talks about the light. Overcome the darkness, and He's going to be there for me no matter what. So when I'm feeling down and stuff, I look at that Bible verse. It's Luke 1 through 78 through 79, and I just look at the sun, and He always says, "I'm right here. I'm with you. I go before you, behind you, beside you." And, that's my Bible verse I go to, Luke 1:78 through 79.
I'm trying to find a good translation, guys. I like the message because it's very like, I can't remember the verse, but it pretty much tells you, don't be stupid. Like, it's hilarious. Like, if you guys ever need to, understand the Word of God, the message is a good one. But I guess I'll just go with the NLT, New Living Translation. So my favorite verse, it's so good. My favorite verse is Isaiah 40:31, but my all-time favorite go-to, hold up. I know. Somebody else want to go?
Yeah, I'll go real quick. This is something I pray over my kids every night, and I kind of just say it throughout the day. Hold on, I'm changing the translation. Philippians 4:6-7. Y'all probably, or most of y'all have heard this. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. This is a verse that I have. I have some verses on different doors in our house, and this is one that I have. I think it's on my daughter's door, and it's every night when we put her to bed. And then when I'm praying for my son, that's what I pray over them. And I just kind of pray that throughout the day. And in any situation that I've just kind of felt like helpless or hopeless or anxious, I've struggled with anxiety my entire life. And so praying that over my life and over other people's lives, God definitely shows up, and he always fills me with his peace. So that's a really good one.
Okay, I found a good translation. So this is my all-time favorite verse. I call it my life verse, but it's Daniel 3:18, and it says, "But even if he doesn't, we want to make it clear to you, Your Majesty, that we'll never serve your gods or worship the gold statue you have set up." So pretty much, if you guys have ever heard the story of King Nebuchadnezzar, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they were brought before Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were brought before King Nebuchadnezzar, and they were ordered to bow down to him, or they would be thrown into a furnace. And they refused to, and they were just like, "Dude, sorry, no. Like, no can do. Like, we don't serve your gods, we serve our God, like the one true and living God." And so anyway, they ended up getting thrown into the furnace. Long story short, they turned it up like 7 times hotter than it had ever been. It was so hot that it killed off like the soldiers that were around the fire. And so can you imagine being thrown in there? You would have just, there's no way you would have survived. But anyway, so they pretty much said, like, we're not going to bow down to you. Like, God will save us from this crap, pretty much. But even if he doesn't, he's still good. And that's something that has resonated in my life for a few years now, because there were times where I would write the little like symbol for and, like the little S looking thing, and I would write it on my finger, like either my middle finger or like my ring finger, and it was just a reminder of like all the crap that you're dealing with and all the crap that you're going through. God's gonna walk you through there, and like he's carrying you. But even if he doesn't, he's still good. He's still God, regardless. And he's never failed me. He's yet to fail me through anything that I have dealt with from the time that I was a kid up till even now, today. Like every breath that I breathe, he's there. And but that's something that I want you guys probably to take with you. Like find a verse that is yours. Find something that speaks to your soul, that speaks to your life circumstances, the things that are going to carry you regardless of what you're dealing with. God is still God, and God will be God until he's not, which is never, because God is God today, yesterday, and forever. So but yeah, again, the verse was Daniel 3:18. So
Awesome. They're not quite done. So we have about 10-ish minutes left. So I figured for the last 10-ish minutes, if y'all have thought of any question you want answered by these guys specifically, since sitting there, I would let y'all ask it. Before I do that, I want to say I love this because it lets you get to know them more, because I mean they're my youth leaders, but I know them more just because even though I've talked to them about most of the stuff they just talked about, or we've talked all of us in a group about it. And so it's a great opportunity, and also it shows, like, I like the conversation aspect of it too. So like before any of y'all ask a question, it reminds us that we're human too, and even though that sometimes we have different answers and none of us really know the right answer, it's all still based on the belief behind like everything. And so it's cool to see how different believers can have different opinions but still believe in the same God kind of thing. So before we end, it can end now, or we can go about 10 to 15 minutes longer. Does anybody have any questions they want to ask? Yeah? Okay.
What was your your first major encounter with God?
What was your first major encounter with God?
So my first major encounter with God was at a youth camp. I got invited by my friend Tamara, her sister, to youth camp, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna try it. I've never been to youth camp. I was raised Catholic. We have youth camp, so I was like, let's go. So I went to youth camp, and I saw all these young kids just like y'all praising God and worshiping, and I felt like I belonged there, because at my church I did that one time. They're like, what's going on? What's this kid doing? So like, I was like, I belong here. So I wanted to chase more. So the next night, I just like let it all go. I just gave it all to God. I was like, hey God, like, this is kind of weird, but I'm gonna just do what these kids are doing. I kind of wanted to fit in, but I was like, it's so much more than just fitting in. Let's see what you got. So I went to the altar call, and I gave my life to God, and I just remember his presence. It was warm. I felt peace. I felt loved. I felt all that for the first time. So I wanted more, so I chased it. And I continued going to church, and that was like my first time ever experiencing God for the first time, for God's love. And then, yeah, my story. Y'all guys know my story. I backslid, and addiction hit, and then I experienced him again. He's never going to leave. He told me, I'm never leaving, so I don't know why you're doing this. And he said, Joseph, I got you. You're not going anywhere. I don't know why you're trying all this stuff, but that's the second time I experienced him. So 2 different times, but one when I was younger and one when I was older. But there's 2 different times, and they've been the same ever since. He's never let me go. He'll never let you go. So just give it all to him, and he shows up.
Mine also was actually at a youth church camp. It was actually Camp Mountain Air. Yeah. Probably, I mean, it was the same camp that we went to every year when we were teenagers. And I think it's super great because it's getting away from everybody, taking you from here to a secluded place, and you're just around a bunch of kids just like yourself, and everybody has one purpose, is just to go see God's face. But anyway, I I remember not long after I was teetering in my faith at the time, and I was like, I kind of made a deal with God, and I was like, so I don't know if you're real, but if you are, and you have to change my mom, you got to do something, because I can't live like this. Like, I can't live like this. And there were numerous times where I tried committing suicide, and I just failed every freaking time. And it sucked so bad because I was tired of living that life, of being unloved and being unappreciated and being just having to constantly chase somebody to even recognize that you're in the house. And it was super frustrating to me. And I was just like, dude, like, how can there be a God that everybody says loves me if my own mother doesn't even love me? And so I remember her saying, well, she never gave us a choice. It was always, oh, and Sunday morning you're going to the altar. Oh, and Sunday morning this. Oh, and I volunteered you. You're going to help so-and-so at the church. And so it was always like mandatory, like church work. And I hated it. And to this day, if you tell me to do something and I feel obligated to do it, I'm gonna flat out tell you no. Like, it's just something that God has to like work out in me. But and I have come a long way, actually. But anyway, so that was kind of like a starting point to, my mom was like, oh, and there's a church camp and you're going. And I was just like, woman, like, oh, you really, like, you need Jesus. If he's real, he gotta come get you, because I can't wait you. So anyway, I go to this church camp, and I sat back. Like, it was literally like 4 nights of nothing but pouring yourself. Like, I mean, literally, like teenagers would like run to the front, and they're on their faces, and everybody's crying, and everybody's bawling, and I just sat there looking at everybody like, this is freaking ridiculous. And I'm like, why is everybody crying? You know, and I didn't know, because still at that point I was still like, God's not God. There's no Jesus. I don't know why you guys are even doing this. And so for me, I was still teetering and questioning, you know, like, is God really real? Like, are you really real? Is this like just like what everybody does because everybody's feeling the music and everybody's, you know? And so I started questioning, and that is just what I had been doing for months. And so I started questioning, like, God, like, if you're real, like, tell me why they're doing that. Like, show me why they're doing that. Like you like people to make an idiot out of themselves for you? Like, I mean, like, these are the conversations that I had with him. And I just remember sitting there, and I let 2 nights, Wednesday night comes around, and I just felt like a pulling, like somebody just kept pulling me, and I felt like real heavy. And I was just like, dude, like, you know, like when you know you're supposed to do something and you don't do it, and you just get uncomfortable, and like I didn't know what to do, and I was kind of like sitting there. Well, and my brother, of course, like dived right in the first night, and I was like, you're a freaking moron, like what is wrong with you, you know? And he was like, Bianca, God's real, like I promise. And I'm like, okay, whatever, like get away from me. So Wednesday night I kind of felt this like this pulling. And I just remember sitting, and I sat like towards the back. I wasn't way in the back, but I wasn't in the middle. I was kind of like halfway between the back and the middle. And I was like literally the only one sitting in this pew. And everybody, including youth leaders, are in the front, and everybody's praying, and everybody's falling apart. And I was just like, all right, you know what? Okay, I'm going to go. But I'm not going to go throw myself on the floor. Like, I'm not going to do that. But I'll go. Let me see what you got. Like, if you're real, let me see what you got. Let's see. And so I got up, and I like walked down the side, because I was like, I ain't walking down the middle either. Walked down the side, and I just remember the more steps that I took, and I just like, I just like wanted to tear up thinking about it, because for every step that I took, tears began to fall, and I didn't understand what I was feeling, but every tear that I cried, and every step I took, it just like it was almost like somebody just wrapped their arms around me and gave me a hug, and he was like, I'm right here. Like, I've always been here. I just waited for you. Like, I've been waiting for you, and I've been here, and I've sat with you, and I've carried you. I just needed you to be ready to come to me. And I just remember standing there on the side, and this youth leader comes over, and his name was Sean. He was from Carlsbad. And he just walked over, and he looked at me, and he said, "Are you all right?" And I was just like, I don't even understand what I'm feeling right now. And he called his wife over and one of his female youth leaders, and they walked over, and they didn't even say anything. They didn't pray for me. They didn't have to say a word. They just gave me a hug, and it was like this huge release and like a huge deep breath, just like, oh my gosh, like there it is. And that was like my actual like first encounter, like battling with God. But when you finally give in, man, it's like, it's the most amazing thing, guys. But yeah, that was kind of like that was my like actual first encounter with feeling God, like literally feeling God. It was pretty cool.
Anyone else wanna?
So mine, ironically, was also at youth camp. At a very, very dark period in my life where I wasn't suicidal, but I also felt like I had no value in living. I was at youth camp, and our youth directors were like, "Hey, we're going on this hike. Everyone has to go." I hated hiking at the time. I had asthma. I still technically have asthma. But I was really not feeling it that day. I didn't want to go on the hike. And then they're like, "Okay, at the top of the hike, we're going into this cool cave." That obviously they had been in it. It was safe, whatever. But we get to the top. I'm exhausted. I'm already having a hard time breathing. Then we go into the cave, and the cave is like, there's a steep part that you go down, that you hold a rope, then you get down to the bottom, and everyone turns off their flashlights, and it's completely dark. So they tell us once we get into the bottom, because it's really, really cold. They're like, "Okay, if anyone gets cold or isn't feeling good because it's cold, just tell one of the leaders and they'll take you up." So after the hike, because it was a lot of hiking and all of it was uphill, I was already having a really hard time breathing, and I went and told one of the leaders, I'm like, "I have to get out of here. Like, it's dark, I'm freezing, I'm having a hard time breathing, like I'm starting to have a panic attack." I got halfway up the part where you're holding onto the rope, and it was just me and this camp leader, and she had to go get my inhaler for me out of my friend's backpack because I couldn't breathe, I couldn't move. I literally was just sitting there in the cold, in the dark, holding onto this rope because it was all that was keeping me there. Like, gravity, not super steep slope, so it wasn't all that was keeping me there, but all that was keeping me from sliding back down. And I had been through a period in my life where I was really fighting God, really not knowing what to do, knowing where to go, just ready to give up. And I'd say never besides this point have I felt like I've actually heard like God speak to me. But I was sitting there in the dark. I couldn't breathe. And I just really felt like the Lord spoke to me in a way that I didn't understand, but was also clear at the time. Because spiritually, I was sitting in the dark. And it's really hard to picture that unless you've been there sometimes. But just a perfect picture formed in my mind, and the Lord just spoke very clearly to me that the situation I was physically sitting in was a situation I was spiritually sitting. I was in the dark, I was suffering, and the only thing keeping me from falling completely into nothingness was Jesus. And he was a lifeline that I was ready to let go of in a lot of ways, but wasn't ready to let go of me. And in that moment, I felt like the Lord just clearly spoke to me and was like, you have the choice. You really do. Like, you have the choice. You have the choice to give up. But in the moment of not being able to breathe and feeling like I was dying a little bit, I realized I didn't want to. So, I guess sometimes we don't realize we're in the dark until we're literally in the dark. And Jesus is the lifeline that sometimes we just have to be ready to hold on to no matter what. And I'm sorry because I felt like it made no sense. And that was really wordy.
Cool. Right. That's all we got. Adults are wrapping up, so we gotta wrap up. If y'all got any questions, find me, find Sid, find a leader, text one of them, text us. If you're not following the youth page, follow the youth page. You can DM that for questions. You can use the prayer box right there for questions. Whatever y'all want to do. Before we go, do any leaders want to volunteer to pray them out?
I will.
Okay. All right. Bianca's gonna pray us out, and we're gonna call it.
All right. All right, guys. Everyone, close your eyes. Let's give Jesus a couple more minutes. God, you are amazing. Thank you so much for every single soul that's here. Every soul, and every soul that's not here. God, I pray that you would wrap your loving arms around them. Sit with them this evening and let them know that they are loved regardless. God, thank you for every youth leader that's here. Thank you for everything that we've dealt with and been through and felt, because we come from a place where we have an understanding of what your kids are going through. And we may not have the same struggles presently, but we know what it's like to battle. And I thank you, God, for being our strength when we have none, and for being ever so faithful, and for loving us unconditionally and carrying us through everything that we've dealt with. God, I thank you so much for speaking over us, for loving us. Be with us this evening. Be with the rest of these kids whenever they go to school. Help them to walk knowing that they don't walk alone. That they have us there backing them. The Holy Spirit, you go before them in all things. Give them sweet dreams tonight. Help them to get rest, to wake up refreshed tomorrow, ready to tackle their day. God, thank you for being you, and for anybody that is questioning you, God, help them to keep questioning you. And thank you for being available at all times. And you're amazing, and I love you so much. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
All right. We love y'all. Y'all are awesome. We'll see you next week for the next 7, because there'll be 7 instead of 6. All right. Y'all get going.
We love you guys. Have an amazing week.